Hey there, it is Dusty once again with another story for you. This one is, am I the astronaut for telling my cheating wife a day before our daughter's graduation that I would be divorcing her? My wife and I have been married for 20 years and we have a daughter who's 18. She graduated high school a few months ago. Around 6 years ago, I found out that my wife was cheating on me and having an affair which lasted for a couple of months. I really wanted a divorce, but my wife was really remorseful. She quit her job, she started going to therapy, she promised all reconciliation steps that I asked for. Ultimately, I did decide to stay with my wife for her sake and for our family's sake too. For around 5 years, everything was actually going great. We had date nights, romantic vacations, and we really loved each other. However, on the 6th year, the whole thing resurfaced back on my mind, and I just couldn't get it off my mind. I finally made my decision after a particular line from my sister struck a chord with me. She said, "Would you really want to use the gift of life and spend it with someone who had betrayed you so badly?" She told me this a couple of days before my daughter's graduation, and that's when I finally decided that I couldn't do it anymore. A day before my daughter's graduation, I informed my wife of my decision and told her that I would be filing for divorce soon. My wife was shocked, and she cried a lot and told me that she would do anything, but I told her that my decision was final. My daughter's graduation in itself was great, and I was really proud of my daughter. And my wife seemed happy too, but my daughter could sense that something was wrong and asked me why her mom seemed down and trying to fake a smile. I told her not to worry about it and to just enjoy the day. The next day, however, I told my daughter that I would be filing for divorce, and my daughter seemed shocked. She said, how could I do this to her mom before graduation, and that's why her mom couldn't enjoy the graduation. I told her it's none of her business, but we'll both always love her regardless. My wife and I are now going through divorce proceedings. Am I the astronaut?
It's me.
Also, it's none of your business to your child who you're explaining the situation to, because it very much is her business, was maybe not the right move here. Top comment on this: you are absolutely within your right to end your relationship for whatever reason you have. That doesn't make you an asshole. What does make you an absolute asshole is how you chose to do it, your complete lack of empathy and thought about timing your announcement, even if just for the sake of your daughter. Your wife ruined your relationship 6 years ago. You ruined your daughter's high school graduation day. She's not going to ever graduate from high school again. You forever tainted this moment for her. Like others have said, you waited 6 years already. What would another few days have been? This was completely selfish. No consideration for anyone else. That's problematic. So, not thinking about others when making a decision for yourself that's problematic. Because the others you needed to think about were your daughter and the person that you have spent this much of your life with, who you've decided you don't want to be with anymore. And again, you're well within your right to do that for whatever reason you decide. However, forgiveness is forever, is it not? Like, yes, this can resurface and you thought you could forgive her. And after forgiving somebody, and saying that, she went through all the steps that you asked her to go through, and then you had 5 good years, but on the 6th year, it just popped back up into your head. Something happened. Something happened to make that resurface, and maybe it was thinking about what life will be like after your daughter moves out, and then thinking about, I don't know. I don't know what happened to resurface this, but I don't think that it just randomly happened. I have a problem with saying that you forgive someone, that person going through all of the work, then having 5 good years, and then all of a sudden randomly pulling that back up from 5 years ago or 6 years ago and saying, yeah, that was the thing. Remember that thing? That's the thing. The thing I did forgive you for. And then you gave me 5 years of your life as well. And now it's a problem. And again, you can end a relationship for whatever reason you decide to. This feels like a bullshit reason to me. I think he was looking for an excuse to start living the selfish life that he wants to live now that his daughter's not going to be in the house. Whatever life that looks like, right? But let's assume everything he's saying is accurate here. It is that. He just can't get over it anymore for whatever reason. All of a sudden, he just can't get over it anymore. His timing does make him an asshole here. All he had to do was wait 1 extra day. And it kind of seems intentional, doesn't it? It seems like he intentional wanted to shit on what could be a very happy moment for his soon-to-be ex-wife by just randomly dropping this bomb on her. I don't know. What do you guys think? I feel like him having an issue with it after forgiving her and then after having 5 good years is a him problem. But that's the kind of thing that I feel like if that came up, if it resurfaced, something changed within him. And if I were in his shoes and something had happened like that, I'd be like, the answer for me right now is just to go to therapy, is to go try to figure out what caused this and try to resolve this issue in my mind, because it is a me problem. I forgave you for that. Forgiveness is forever. You don't rent forgiveness. Forgiveness does not have an expiration date. I don't know, Tater Thunder, what do you think here? Tater thoughts. Heat lamp is on. Piping hot, fresh out the oven.
No, I agree.
Put a little salt on them.
Lots of salt. Potatoes needed. One, I agree with everything that you said. I think that if you choose to forgive someone and then resurfacing the issue 6 years later, it's kind of like the guy who wanted the one fun night because his wife cheated on him in high school. Like,
yeah.
That's what this feels like.
But that was like 6 years later as well.
Here's what I don't like is that, one, of course you have trauma. Your spouse cheated on you. You chose to forgive. She met your requirements. You guys chose to move forward. And when this popped up, the first person you should have gone to was your wife. You should have gone to her with your issues and not your sister, who you know is probably, she's in your corner. But her view is, my view, like with my brother, is tainted because I'm his sister. Like, I can't be impartial to the situation because I'm his sister, and I know that, and I've told him that. So if he needs that viewpoint, don't come to me. But I feel like the sister in this situation saying what she said after 6 years, after they've had a good 5 years, is kind of shitty. Like, it's shitty to see someone who's struggling with intrusive negative thoughts and feeling like they want to give up on this and then being like, yeah, you should do that. Like, I don't know. It just bothers me that she piped in, and that's what made him make his decision. And
what
that's
caused her to make that statement too? It's not like she
She's-
opened the conversation with, hey, I've been thinking.
No, he went to her.
Yeah, he went to her because he was already thinking about it, or...
And if this was the real reason, like, I don't know. I just feel like if you make the commitment to work on this with your wife should be the first person to know this. And you definitely don't do this the day before your child's graduation. You don't, especially like high school graduation. That's such a defining moment, and you tainted it. Like, you made it shitty, and you could have not done that, and it was completely selfish. I don't know if it was the milestone of her leaving, not really leaving the house, but of being done with school and feeling like he had accomplished something and he was just waiting for that to happen to leave. He met somebody else, or if he just really, it just resurfaced and it is what it is. But I do think the wife should have been the first person to know that he was having doubts. If you make that commitment, follow through with it. Like you said, don't rent an apology. Don't rent forgiveness, yeah.
And Dr. Sweets, I saw you had something to this effect, but it was basically, he said he stayed for his wife and his child's sake. He stayed for the family's sake, right? Which I can tell you from experience, like, doesn't work out well.
Right.
You're essentially telling yourself to ignore who you are and to pretend as long as you can until you just can't stand it anymore. And maybe that was happening here, but if that was the case, the rest of the story doesn't line up. He said they had 5 good years. So did he truly convince himself that he was happy and it was still just fake for those 5 years?
Right.
And truly he was just there for his wife and his child? And if so, the timing lines up? Because as soon as his daughter wasn't going to be in the house anymore, he's like, well, I don't have to stay for her anymore.
Right.
So I'm free. But then everything before that is bullshit. Because you didn't have 5 good years.
Right.
You faked it for 5 years. And if you're that good at faking it for 5 years and then getting to this point...
I think there's... either he met someone, I don't know. It's just like, if you say we had dates, we had romantic vacations, and then, I don't know. It just feels shitty. I think the person who got shit on the most is the daughter, because
Agreed.
this was completely blindsiding. And like he said, my wife was shocked because she had no idea, because you didn't bring it up to her, because how would she have known? So I don't know. I feel bad. It's a bad situation, but I feel the worst for the daughter. And I feel like the biggest asshole in this story is the sister, close second with the hubby. And I mean, yeah, the wife's an asshole for cheating, but he chose to forgive. And if you choose to forgive, you don't get to use that against them anymore, because you're choosing to move forward. And that is my opinion on the situation. Yeah. And I understand that it can still be trauma, but you've got to work through the trauma together if you're still going to choose to forgive that person.
If you do forgive someone, I think you commit to never using that against them. right? And that's, if it does come up, like that feeling comes up, then it's a you problem. You have to address it. You have to go through it. I do think he has somebody else, or there's some ulterior
idea
motive
of someone
here.
else, yeah.
There's something here where he's got this fantasy in his head cooked up of what life's going to be like afterward. He's like, I'm going to get a Harley. I'm going to have chicks over every night. It is going to be the glory days that I missed out on. And it's
A Harley.
may not work out that way for him, right? But I think that's what he's cooked up in his head. And the reason that he plucked is just the bullshit reason that he thought would be enough to substantiate this.
And he just threw his sister under the bus. She probably never said it. He just threw her under the bus.
Yep. Hopefully we get an update to this at some point and they're like, oh yeah. No, he won't update it and fess up.
His sister's like, I never said that.
That his side piece has become the main course. He's never going to come back and fess that up. So it is what it is. So anybody the asking for telling my cheating wife a day before our daughter's graduation that I would be divorcing her. Also, extra bonus points in the direction of Ascon 1 for this title. You called her a cheating wife 6 years after you had forgiven her for what happened. So either you lied when you said that you forgave her and then you just faked it for 6 years, or this is all bullshit. Either way, giving you an ask on one here because none of this had to be done the way that it went down, and you did it in a completely selfish and destructive way. Destructive to the people that you supposedly loved for a long time without any provocation. You chose selfishly, and in doing so, damaged other people. That makes you a pretty big asshole.